what are we going to talk about tonight?
May I ask now what your one's practice realistically entail?
Say that again.
What should one's practice realistically entail? I mean, I feel personally, although I might be hypocritical about it, that I'm stuck and I'm not going anywhere. But in order to get a push, how should one sort of go ahead further by adding time or putting some other, for want of a terrible phrase, technique into one's practice?
Anything else on that, friends?
Isn't this idea of repetitious practice the same idea as you use these Vedic analogies? Isn't it the same as the analogy of ploughing the field? You've got to plough the field. Is that a fair comment?
It's a good point. But I do understand the factor of the mechanistic rigmarole. And where do we get a blast of new force coming into it? Where and how? Is there a how? Anything else?
And where how stops and then the rhythm experience begins.
Maybe.
Obviously, sudden familiarity with how is important.
Yes. Anything else? I'd be inclined to say, friends, for what it's worth, that someone with breathing problems must pay special attention to breathing and its meaning, and feeling experientially to the root, to the core of where the problem lies. Now, one factor in all this that pertains to the vast majority of civilized humanity is the fact we are rigidly erect all the time, constantly, rigidly erect. This affects everything, and it most certainly affects our breathing. And I strongly suspect that apart from any specific elaborate techniques, that what is required is much walking around on all fours for very many people. You will breathe differently. You will cognize in a somewhat different way your connection with the earth. And to be a little more realistic, one should spend some time, frequent times, during the day with the head well down into some approach to a Padahastasana position, and also plenty of other comfortable inverted postures. That's definitely something that is required. Now, when you have got a balance, a bias in your experience to turning things upside down, because this way up we've got problems. This way up we've got problems. So we must turn things upside down and learn in a simple way to enjoy being upside down. There are ever so many ways to enjoy being upside down, aren't there? to be some extremely posh posture. Now that's a good way of being upside down. Have you seen that? Especially with a little support under your head. Give me a cushion. Do you see what happens when I'm in that position? Do you see? One of the things that happens is that if we make ourselves relaxed, and if the cushion is not too high, the spine is as flat as it can become along the straight line of the floor. Is that correct? On a hard floor, a fairly hard surface. And what does that mean? It means that we're in the position of, if we were sitting erect, the tail would be a little tucked under. Is that right?
Right.
Now, one of the things that means, oddly enough, is that there's a little more direct pressure on the lower lung, and there's a little greater sense of freedom in the upper chest. Now that's a fact, if we're very relaxed. Don't make a great thing of it, but merely detect with your fingertips the fact that the diaphragm moves as you breathe. Don't make it move in any specific way. Don't do any manipulation. Just notice that it does move. That in itself is a very useful way to relax. That maybe you've got a sort of chair, not this sort of chair, but a sort of settee thing that enables you to come up a little bit and relax a little higher up. Do plenty of that. Reverse your normal, in inverted commas, reverse your usual orientation of head vis-a-vis heart, of the organs of the body in respect of how the metabolism is driven, is geared, is stimulated. Do plenty of relaxing upside down in inverted positions. And this position can be very helpful for many people and very relaxing. And it could, between attacks, for example, of migraine, be a counteractive to that condition, providing everything is relaxed. Now, if you try that, you'll see just how very relaxing that is. Another posture we need to explore very fully is this simple one of Asasha Sankasan, with elbows against the knees, chin near the chest or on the chest. This zappa is actually a little bit high. That's about right. Just there. And just let the breathing, let the eyes, the forehead, the eyes and the breathing enter that state of relinquishment that state of letting go, as you enter sleep. Just let go as you would when you enter sleep. In that twilight zone between waking and sleeping, you are loose in the sheaths. Sleep is a healing state. If, however, you have found the ability to sleep when not asleep, the ability to let go so that the bordering on sleep mechanism is taking over, yet the energy of awareness is still there. There will be something extra added to the healing and restoring impulse within the organism. Now this is a yogic discovery. Call it, if you will, deep relaxation, but that's only putting a label on it that doesn't mean very much. You've got to find out. You've got to sleep without sleeping. You've got to find out what that means. And to do it in the inverted positions is very therapeutic, very benign, very helpful. Now, given that bias and experience, in various ways of practicing, of achieving tensionless inversion, you're not fighting the body, you're not fighting anything. Tensionless inversion. Then you are amplifying your own healing potential. It's a matter of letting go. It's a yogic characteristic. Now, of course, there are other things. There are ways of breathing which we have been working on quite a bit. Especially the sitting techniques. Follow those through, any of them, and you will find interesting things are happening with yourself. But we shouldn't go at it as if we're in training for some athletic objective. We should be cultivating the cognition that we're letting go and allowing it to take over. We come down then to relaxing into inverted postures, that is, head below heart, as much as possible, as informally as you wish, and in various angles and shapes. Head below heart, relaxing throughout, and when you are erect, then you are breathing. Smarana is characterized by the subsidiary words recollection and penetration. The state of sitting, the state of being, the state of cognizing, before we embark on a specific process of practice. That state of recollection, that state of penetration, that is realized before we begin to try to set our deeper purposes in motion. What does it amount to? It amounts to being what we are without resistance, gently observing the breath and recollecting what are the parts of our being? Not recollecting the past, not delving into memories, but merely observing, recollecting what are the essentials of our experience at this instant. When we gently observe our breath, we are penetrating thereby to that which breathes. What is that which breathes? Who is that which breathes? Oblation on the in-breath, release, purging and sacrifice on the out-breath, on the held breath, a confluence in the flow, the essence, a fusion of opposites. Ka, ka, ka means who. Implied in the mere fact of breathing is who is breathing in. Who is breathing out? Who is the essence? Who? The great Ramana Maharishi asked only one question. That question was, who? Who am I? When we breathe, when we recollect, we thereby penetrate. If we allow our breathing to happen, if we allow it to enlarge as it will, to diminish as it will, to be still as it will, to retain as it will, to let go as it will. If we allow this to occur to increasing degree, our enlarging comprehension of our breathing process will inevitably become a penetration into the richness and the rarity of our deeper nature. We will be unblocking. We will be allowing to flow that gift of greater life that every prophet alluded to in one way or another, that gift of abundant being, which is the manifestation of the fulfillment of any true teaching. What is a true teaching? That which is capable of realization in the conditions of a here and now. That which is needful in our time. That which is necessary to us. That which our inner being perceives will unlock the potential for greater sensitivity, greater penetration, greater realization, greater consciousness. One should not underestimate the simplest things. There is nothing much more to be learned, I suspect, beyond simply sitting and being and allowing to happen. The subject of the Essenes cropped up today. The further relationship of that word Essene to the verb to be in both Latin and Greek is interesting. And the linking of being with the coming of light, with the manifesting dawn, a tremendous potential inherent in those who walk in darkness is in a curious way a privilege that can never be repeated, because the deepest hour is always before the dawn. And the coming of the light bearer is the certainty to the fulfillment of the soul. We have merely to breathe, we have merely to be, for life to flow, for freedom to begin to unfold. What is this freedom? It's not a concept about freedom. It's not a contradiction. It's not a polarization with or against the constrained and stupefied state. It's not that. When it happens, it is a sense of flow that is beyond polarities. It is a motion of that which is in us that is not the movement of the mechanism, but is the surging through of something quite new. And as soon as we label it, we lose it. We can only let it happen, but it happens as a reality in some degree in every human entity. But we don't know it. We don't cognize it because we have not begun to cognize, to allow to happen, to allow to flow, to allow to be free. That which is most fundamental in all human experience, the fact of our breathing. When we penetrate to the true meaning of our breathing, we are beginning to become at one with the fundamental rhythm of the universe. This flow of the greater life is unlocked, is unleashed when our resistance to our breathing dies. The greater life will flow through our breath. The greater life will flow through the totality of our corporate being. The greater life will become our being, already is our being. And this diminishing of our impedance, this unblocking of our potential, this resignation, which is the purgation, which is the sacrifice, this dying to our own resistances, this is the manifestation of grace. So simply be, allow it to happen, and our potentiality will well forth. Greater sensitivity, greater intuition, greater comprehension in every sense, not through reading more, not through talking more, but simply being more, because we are allowing our being to breathe. Life must breathe. We must breathe. Breathe and be free. Within our own fathomless nature, there is the indwelling sun of life that is invincible. And if we are so attuned, there is also the moon of our quiet state, made radiant, made golden by its true state of balance with the all-suffusing sun. Sun, moon, and earth are the essentials of our nature. They generate the atmosphere that we inhabit, and the atmosphere that we inhabit flows to the rhythm of the cosmic being. We are part of that rhythm. We are a cell within the greater life. Within that flow is all wisdom, is all beauty, is all compassion. Be still and breathe the light of eternal liberty, which is the ecstasy of that which knows no death. Merely a cyclic sacrifice through which regeneration and resurrection is the limitless gift of a being that bestows the nurturing night, and the assurance of supreme fulfillment that is born of the dawn.